It's an amazing looking festival, and it's so focused on pilots. This is like the new Sundance for television. It has that feel.
It's a really great idea to do a festival for serialized material. I think it's cool. It's kind of ahead of its time.
They seem to be really tapping into a broad spectrum of both new and emerging talent and also more established talent.
We're really excited because we didn't realize that we were part of this wave of independent television. Our next favorite TV shows are going to be independently produced.
It's so exciting to be at SeriesFest with this project because television is where all the big risks are being taken, where the most exciting work is happening. And this is a festival that celebrates that.
Hello. Hi there. My name is Patrick Gomez. I'm an executive editor at Entertainment Weekly. Thank you all for being here. Hope you're enjoying SeriesFest. That was a really fun episode. You're probably a little hungrier than you were 30 minutes ago. Well, I don't have 3 dishes for you, but I do have a treat. One of them is so very French, and one of them loves to say that the other one is so very French. Please welcome Chef Ludo and Natasha Leggero.
Keep clapping till we get to the stage. Thank you. Is that my thing? I love to say he's French. I'll take it.
I mean, every introduction, there's a different reason he is so very French.
Oh, right. Okay, I see what you're saying. You are correct.
I've watched the show. Now, surprise, we're going to tie you together. And no, thank you all for being here. It's so fun. It was so fun. I've watched it at home, and me and my husband are guessing and doing that. But it's so fun to watch it with a large group of people because you hear the shock and people calling things out. This crowd over here was having a good time there at the end, I could tell.
It was so good. I don't like to watch myself, but it's way better than I thought.
Maybe it's just on huge screens. That's what it is. It was so fun to watch all that because, you know, we're all watching it, but it's fascinating to watch you all, and I'm always, the question I want to start with is, do you feel like you guys have an inside track and it's easier for you to guess, or because we're watching it and getting close-up moments and things that you might not see while they're cooking?
We had a very hard time guessing. People were so good at it, which made it so fun. Like those, when Ludo and I are like at the bar trying to figure it out, I don't think we figured it out once.
We figured out, I think, 2 times.
Oh, 2
like
times?
That, yes. But it's hard to, we're on the set and we watching people cooking, and we have some bad cook too who don't know how to cook, so we think it's a rat.
Right, you think someone's the rat, but their grandma just has a bad recipe.
Thank you very much. Yeah, exactly. Yes.
But we had so much fun shooting it and figuring it out because it was it was really hard. And I remember this episode now, like, she was just so believable. Like, I've never seen a reality show contestant be able to cry that well. That was very, very impressive. Much better than what I
You're
can
right,
do.
you should get an agent.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Good. You got to get those calls made. Let's take a step back to the beginning of this process for you all. How did Rat in the Kitchen come into your lives?
They call me.
And we're done. Thank you all for being here.
ITV call me. You want to be on the show? And I say, yeah, why not? You know, they explained to me the concept of the show, and I did not understand everything, but I say yes.
Just like the contestants.
Yes, it is. You can be the judge. Okay, I judge. It's fine. Judging is fun. I like it.
I like judging people too.
And after, you know, it was good. I was excited to be with Natasha, so I say yes also, because Natasha.
Well, they did pick Ludo first, and so then I got to like become familiar with his food, and I got to go to his restaurant, and we met a bunch of times, and well, because it was also during lockdown, so it was kind of hard for us to meet, but we'd had a lot of Zoom conversations, and I think we were just really excited about making a show that would be fun, but also could be funny, but that also had really high standards that he brings to it. But he was like totally down for me to like make fun of him or make fun of the food. So that just kind of ended up being really fun.
I like when Natasha makes joke about me. I like it.
You like it?
Yeah. It's me. I mean, she's right most of the time.
Walk me through, did things come out of that conversation in terms of like things that you wanted to see in the show? Did the show evolve from when you first got it was first pitched to you as a project you could be a part of to when you started filming? Did filming evolve it? Talk to me through how it changed.
Well, bringing the people. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. First.
I was gonna say bringing when there's actually live contestants, it just became its own thing. You know, like you can talk about it all you want, but then until the chefs come in and you feel the camaraderie and you feel the energy and you see their levels of talent, that just adds like such another element and level to it all that it kind of found its own voice, I think.
I agree, you're right.
He just says that to everything I
All the
say.
time.
It's the right call.
I agree, you're right.
Did you think that you yourselves would get so invested in figuring out who the rat was, like, or?
I thought they were going to tell us, but then I think we wanted.
No, I mean, I think it's better we don't know. I think it's better.
Of
Because
course.
especially for judging the food, you know, it's better for us to don't know who's the rats, you know, definitely. It's more fun like that. It's fun.
I do want to say we definitely want to hear questions from you all. So if you're thinking about questions, let us know. We'll get to those in just a bit. But it's high stakes. Obviously, there's money at stake. They're all cooking in a kitchen they're not familiar with. They're looking at each other.
And one of the biggest things that I didn't anticipate is like almost all of the chefs are like huge fans of Ludo. Like they've been following his career. They know who he is.
I don't
They're
know
very
why.
impressed with him. So this is like their moment to shine. So, you know, you can see how stressed out some of them are to be presenting you these dishes that they don't have complete control over. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but that was like something I hadn't anticipated. Like, I thought they would be more familiar with me, but it turns out they were.
Oh, Natasha, everybody knows you too.
It's okay, I'm over it.
But explain to me what it's like to watch. Is the tension? Do you feel like it's accurately portrayed here, or is it times 10 for them in that room in terms of running around and just the high stakes and the pressure that they're under?
I mean, the contestants are really on pressure, definitely. You know, cooking the new kitchen. They just have 40 minutes to do amazing dish. 40 minutes is not a lot.
And sometimes 6 dishes, right?
Sometimes 6 dishes. It's like driving a new car. You know, it's very challenging, and they need to watch for rats too. So, you know, it's very very difficult to cook in this condition. I would not love to do this show, to do the contestant. Trust me. No.
But Ludo is such a natural teacher. Like, unlike some cooking reality shows, the head chef can be very, like, you know, mean and sort of more like, you know, just screaming at them.
Carefully criticized.
Ludo only did that once.
That's it.
But it was fun to watch him in the 40 full minutes kind of walking around, helping people. Like, he would teach people just little things here and there, and that was also fun to absorb. But you didn't get that all in here.
I love to teach, but sometimes the producer says to my ear, no, don't tell them what to do. You know, I mean, it's you know, it's not like a show for teaching, so I cannot teach the rats how to cook, you know. It's here for sabotage.
Though if they go the opposite of your advice, though,
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Yeah,
you're right, Patrick.
you got an insight in there.
Yeah.
Natasha, you love to say on the show how much you're not a cook and all that, but do you feel like you learned stuff that you will never use, but learned it on the show watching it?
Natasha, tell the truth.
I mean, cooking's not for everyone.
Yeah.
Although my friend tried to tell me that maybe I needed therapy because I don't like to cook. I don't know if that's true, but I definitely would like to outsource that for the rest of my life. And
You don't like to cook, huh?
well, what's the point? I don't know. It's so much dishes.
The eating part's the fun part.
I'm not good at it. It's stressful.
Yeah, cooking can be stressful, I agree. I mean, sometimes I'm stressed cooking. Yeah.
But you
know,
enjoy it.
But I enjoy it still, you know. Still at the end, you know, you want to give joy to people, so I like it, you know. But cooking can be stressful.
And it was really fun to work with Ludo because he's such a master, but I had never like worked with someone who's a master at some like that art form, like cooking. So it was fun to see how he, you know, how his brain works. And we were like in Atlanta for 2 months or 2 weeks, 3 weeks,
more than that,
4
3 weeks.
weeks. We had to quarantine for a long time. But like
All
every
this time over the past 2 years.
Yeah.
after we were done quarantining, like every night, because it was Atlanta, it's a food city. I'm like, let's go to this restaurant. And he's like, no, let's just eat at this Thai place across the street.
We
I'm
ate
like,
food for 2 weeks.
and so we've already eaten there so many times. And I was like, I've never seen someone who's not a foodie, whose whole life is food. And then he said, I don't want to be influenced.
When I like something, I like something.
So he just wants it to like, and then I was like, well, how do you get
Oh,
your
it was so
recipes?
easy.
And
we
he's
go
like,
across the street, it was easy.
he
It was
would
COVID.
say,
I was stressed with COVID. You know?
That's why we didn't eat at other places?
Yeah, I mean, you know, it was COVID time, you know. You're supposed to stay home.
That's true,
Yeah.
Ludo.
The Thai restaurant was just your second home. I get it.
Yeah, the Thai restaurant, it was my second home, exactly. They all know Natasha. We went over there, and everybody see Natasha. So we are VIP after. It was great.
But what was so cool is like Ludo would explain how I was asking him like, how do you get your ideas for things? Because he was talking about some eel with white chocolate mashed potatoes, and he's like, oh, I get it from dreams.
Yeah, sometimes, yeah, you dream, you know. That recipe.
It's such a creative, like, you know, it's like this dream path for his art, but it's like, you know, it's so cool to meet. I didn't know that's how, I mean, I'm sure that's not the case with all chefs, but I don't know if that's how Gordon Ramsay comes up with his dishes.
These are nightmares, apparently.
Screaming.
But speaking of getting inspired and new combinations, I'm sure this show exposed you to flavor combinations, sometimes
flavor,
intentional,
definitely.
sometimes not.
Oh yeah, we tasted some food with Natasha was very sabotage and some flavor I would never put together. Lot of surprise. I think
Oh, I learned about acidity because that's something
acidity
that
and fat. I
Ludo
love it. The acidity, I love. Yeah.
talk about at every dish. I still don't quite. Should it be on every dish?
Not every dish, but I love acidity and fat together. I like it. I'm obsessed with that. So you want to make me happy? Some butter and some lemon. That's it. You know, but no, we had some amazing dish on the show. Some dish was really amazing. We really have some great cook, but we have some bad cook too. You know, and some rats. So we had some very bad. I don't say bad food, but thing was not making sense. You know
Like
what I mean?
fish sauce on everything.
On everything, you know, yeah, that was pretty weird. Fish sauce with the fried, fish sauce with the dessert. I mean, I love creativity, but you need to make sense. You know, creativity is very easy, but you need to make sure it works.
I hate savory desserts. Disgusting.
You don't like it? You don't like a eggplant dessert? Like it can be like eggplant Foster?
Eggplant Foster?
Yeah, and why not? Yeah.
This is like one of his, he's having a lucid dream right
maybe
now.
It's a daydream.
Yeah.
What do you feel like, you mentioned you don't get to see him walking around. What do you feel like, the show is fantastic, obviously, but what do you kind of wish that there was more elements in there or things that you're like, oh, like when I was there, like with this episode, for example, are there moments that you're like, oh man, I wish you would have seen like this crazy incident or anything like that?
See, I don't remember that much the episode. We did the show like, we shoot that like 1 year ago.
Really?
Yes, it was last May. Yeah, so you know, it's hard to remember exactly what happened in the show, but I wish I can be more in the kitchen and just look around and give advice.
Hot tips.
Yeah, exactly.
You should do it, yeah, just
I
like...
love to teach. I think it's my job as a chef to teach, you know, teach everybody how to cook. I'm lucky when I was a chef, I have a great mentor. They teach me how to cook, and I want to do the same thing now. So it was very hard for me to be in the kitchen and see so many mistakes, and I try to help them, and the producer, no, Ludo, don't do that. You cannot help them. So it was very hard for me. You know?
You just got to get like an Instagram series for the show. That, like,
Yeah,
that's
I mean,
the bonus
exactly, yeah.
content.
But the ingredients, because you have that recipe for your famous omelet, and if you buy the ingredients, I was able to do it, but I did it as a scramble. Because I couldn't, like, the omelet part, that was like, no, I'm not.
Scramble and after you roll
But I
on it.
scrambled it with that special cheese.
Yeah, the Boursin cheese, the French
Boursin
one,
cheese.
the French Valvida.
It was, yeah, because you could find the cheese anywhere.
Yeah,
Just Google this
for
recipe, but
whole food, yeah, you have it.
it makes a good scramble, Ludo.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Boursin cheese is good.
Yeah.
It's good with everything, Boursin cheese.
But you have to get the right kind. You have to get the
Yeah, the black pepper.
cracked pepper. Yeah.
Not the garlic one.
Right.
'Cause
Well,
the
I
garlic
made
is too
that
garlicky.
mistake.
Ah, okay.
What has the reaction been like to the show? Like, are people excited, telling you they're excited to play it?
Yeah, I mean,
Ludo's famous at his children's school
yeah, I'm
now.
very famous in my school now. All the kids watching the show, and they all do that to me. They see me as I drop my kid, and the kid look at me, and it's funny now. It's so funny. It's so funny. Yeah, the kid love to watch it with the family. I mean, it's a fun show to watch as a family. You know, my kids don't want to watch it, so what I do, my kids don't want to watch me. I don't know why. So I play a game with them. I say, if you find the rats, I give you $10, and they watch.
You're paying your children to
Yes.
watch you on TV?
Yes, is that amazing? Yes, my son prefers to play Roblox, and my daughter she's reading book. She loves to write, so
Aww.
yeah. But so I need to pay them to watch the show.
Did they get it right?
One time, yeah, I think it was 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago they figured out, yes. So
I think I've only gotten it right
I lost
like
money.
once.
I lost money. I'm not broke yet because it's not easy to find the rats.
It really isn't. I mean,
It's not easy to find the rats.
but fun because I think a few times you start to like, because we get to observe them in the kitchen.
Yeah.
And oftentimes when they finally tell you who it was, you're like, yes, I remember her going into her pocket to like, people would like store things in their, there was
Well, you're right. It was one was
all
doing that,
these
you're
little
right.
tricks that they
Yeah.
would do.
I love
I
it.
think it's gonna be more interesting if we do season 2 because the rats going to have an idea about how works the show exactly.
Yes,
And
yes.
I think season 2, I think the rats gonna be more prepared for. I think so. It's gonna be interesting season 2 if we do
More
season 2.
emotional sabotage
Yeah.
too.
I think so.
I love a good emotional sabotage. That was one of the things because when it first came out, I was like, oh, I like getting invested in contestants that come, like the top chefs, like ones that you see them over and over again. I was like, I don't know how I'm gonna feel about there being different groups every episode, but it's what makes this show so fun because to your point, the dynamic changes.
Yeah.
Like with the groupings of people because you got a different rat, you've got different personalities, you got some people that I feel like sometimes they want to act like the rat, and I'm like, is that helpful? I don't know.
Maybe they're trying to psych each other out or something, or maybe they just have bad personalities. I don't know.
There's that.
Don't put that in there.
I was telling Natasha yesterday. Actually, I was the very first episode. For a second didn't think she was going to get to taste the food too, and I was very sad for her.
No, I was in the beginning of the show. The producer just want me to taste the food, not Natasha, and insist I want Natasha to taste the food because she don't know that much about food.
I
so-
do know a lot about food. I just can't cook
I
it.
love her reaction. I love the reaction, the face when she's taking the food all the time, and she look at me. And I look at her. What's
I don't want to be like delicious, and you're like, this is disgusting.
But I think it's fun for the show to have Natasha to taste the food too.
Also,
I like that.
I have my degrees in theater criticism, so I feel like moving into food criticism is like
Yeah.
a nice kind of easy
Yeah, it's cool.
path. So and also I love food, and
But you know what
really
tastes good
fun.
and what's not good. You know
Yeah.
that. Everybody know that what tastes good, what don't taste good. You know what I mean?
I had never had raw lobster before.
I was gonna say, how do you feel that you get to taste the food when knowing that sometimes you might crack a tooth, there might be raw
Right.
lobster?
Did not have diarrhea though, I would like to say.
Oh.
Thank you.
And the next day you're okay, yeah? You there?
It's wonderful.
Do you feel like the fact that like you're so aggressively not a chef is that part of the fun of being on the show? Like
I'm sure that is probably not what they had hoped for. But you just kind of have to be who you are. And I'm definitely interested in food, and I love to eat good food. And I love when Ludo cooks, or my husband cooks, or we go to a nice restaurant. And now, actually, after this show, like I'm always critiquing food, like even my family's food, and I feel like they don't appreciate that anymore.
Really? Where's the acidity?
Yeah, exactly.
too much fish sauce.
Yeah. Yeah, the fish sauce, yeah. Tell me about.
Talk me through being a host. Obviously, you've done stand-up, you've created series. What made this an interesting prospect to even be approached to do in general, let alone this fantastic show?
I mean, honestly, it's like I love food. I love Ludo. He's so funny. I started watching his stuff. He's got tons of videos on his Instagram, and his restaurants are amazing. And it just seemed like fun. And I also feel like making fun of food, that feels like a real safe space right now.
It's cool. Nobody's making fun of food. Nobody. It's cool. I think it's a great idea in the show to have a comedian like Natasha make fun about food. I like that. It's fun.
One of the things that we've seen a little bit on the show, but I'm wondering if it happened more and we just don't see it, is they'll go into the pantry room and I think it might be this person, or like pushing people towards things or debating it. Like, was there more of that we don't really see them like being like, I think I'm gonna vote this way or that sort of thing?
We weren't there for that part. I don't know. I'm sure that they got into fights backstage, but it was during COVID, so I think it's the second we weren't shooting, everyone was kind of like separated and taken off. So you know.
So post-COVID, great. They can all be right in
They can
each
be
other's
doing
faces.
whatever
Yeah.
they want.
Yeah, exactly.
I do think that they had to separate people at one point because of a fight, though. Don't quote me on that. It wasn't this episode.
I heard one fight. I heard one fight happen. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there's money at stake.
Yes, money. You're right. Exactly. Don't touch my money. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't touch my money, don't touch my food. They're
Yeah,
passionate
exactly.
about
Yeah,
both.
or something like that too. You know. Trust me. How many more episodes now? Is 5 more episodes now?
Well, new episodes start on May. We're in a
May.
2-week hiatus.
May
Okay.
19th will be
May 19th, okay.
this episode. You get to see it as a preview. So this episode will be May 19th, so you can you can watch it with your friends and totally pretend
You
you
watch
haven't
a
already
show
watched
and
it.
don't tell anybody you watch a show. You don't know the rats and bet some money, guys.
Yeah, that's the money.
I will do that, guys. I will organize a big night in my house and let's go bet some money, guys. You know, like the Super Bowl, you know? And you win the money, guys. You should do that.
If you have questions, prepare them. I'm going to ask one more, and then I'd love to hear if any of you have any. The one thing that I often am thinking is how long is it in between the end of the cook and when you start eating that food? Because like sometimes I'm like, well, it could just get bad because it's just been sitting there.
It's pretty fast. I will say I did a lot of cooking show, and I will say the producer and the team was very well organized, and I eat the food like I would say 10 minutes after.
Sometimes it was cold, though.
Yes, it was cold, Natasha.
I wasn't prepared for that.
You're very picky, more than me.
I just wanted
You
to
can be
have
French.
hot food.
You can be French, definitely. But you know it's hard because you need to take a picture of the food. They have so many things to do before we test, you know, with the plate, you know.
But Ludo's seasoned enough to know that if
I don't
something
judge.
is cold but
I
tastes
don't judge.
delicious, he's not gonna like take that.
I'm not going to judge if the food is cold. You know, I'm not going to be picky like that, you know.
I would, but you know,
Yes.
I'm not in charge.
Yes, but no, it was pretty fast. I did some other show where it was taking more long time. I remember I did a show with the test with Anthony Bourdain, and Anthony was always screaming, "I want to test the food now. I don't care about the picture." You know, I mean, because Anthony was so much respect for the cook, you know, for the food. I tried to do that, but nobody cared about me.
Season 2.
Season 2,
Lay down the law.
yeah. We'll see, yeah.
I love it. Do we have any questions from the audience?
No, thank you, guys.
Oh, I see one right here.
Great, guys.
See, he's funny.
Can I go ahead and just scream it? Yeah, if you can. You may not.
No, I can bring to you.
Just scream at us.
Oh, well, that'll work. And I hope you know the answer to this, but you may not. When people are applying to be on the show, do they ask to be like, I want to be an amateur chef, or do they say, I would like to apply to be a rat?
Ah, that's a very good question.
I love that you think that people are like filling out job applications to do this.
No, they pick the cook first, and after the interview, the producer decide. Just 2 people, I think, decide who's a rat.
She clearly wants to apply to be a rat.
Yeah. So you know, it's the producer decide who's a rat on the spot. I think on that day, and just 2 people know who's a rat.
Yeah.
Like that. Nobody in the crew, the cameraman, the sound guys. I mean, nobody knows the rat on the set. They choose that the last minute.
So the woman that cried is not an actress?
Yeah, I mean, you're right. I mean, definitely this one, she was very good.
No,
Definitely.
these are professional chefs. I
Yeah.
mean, this is not, these are all real chefs. This
Yeah.
is a reality show.
No, they take the food seriously. You know, we want to really test some good food, and the producer really wants some good chef. You know, but it did not happen all the time.
Would you rather be the rat or one of the regular contestants?
Wow.
Being the rat seems fun, right?
Yes, the rat's been fun actually. Seriously, yeah. I would love to be the rat. Seriously, I can sabotage, you know, the food very
That's
well.
season 6.
Yes, yeah. You know, I mean, yeah, the rats. I'm sure the rats is fun. You can win more money. You know, it's great.
That is true. It is lopsided
You
to
know?
them, even if they win less often.
And you know, I'm very French. I don't like people, so I don't want to spend time with people I don't know. Yeah.
That's fair. Any other questions? Got one right here.
Yeah, so on the same lines there, once the contestants find out that they're a rat, do you know if they're given any coaching, or do they have to come up with all the sabotaging themselves? Or do they get help at all from the producers?
I know they get a little bit of coaching and hear that, but they let them do what they want.
I think
No.
the coaching is in
Yeah.
terms of like, don't do this, people have
Yeah.
already done that, don't do that. So I think it's more in terms of helping them you know, they'll have to be more resourceful and more creative. So they don't just do like the first thought thing or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, yeah. Do you have any idea to be the rat guys? I mean, I have a lot idea.
That one guy that like dropped the whole thing of potatoes. That one in like the second episode.
Yeah, but it was too obvious. Like you drop the whole. You see the episode when the rats drop the whole tray of potatoes. It was too obvious. I mean, why you should? I mean, I would never do that. But the guys really dropped the potato. It was, oh my God, you think it's a rat, but it was a big risk for him to do that. You know.
The teacher in him he wants to teach the rats too how to rat.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
Come on, Denver.
Some hand up there. Getting a little exercise.
Are you ever afraid to taste the food after it's served to you?
Yes. I mean, so you see some food. I mean, seriously, I see sometimes what's going in the kitchen. I see when something is undercooked or something the sauce is broken.
That's something I still didn't ever understand.
The broken sauce?
Why is it broken?
When the fat and the liquid separate.
Ah. Okay.
So it's very pearly.
Pearly?
Pearly, like you see, it's a lot. Yeah, it's broken. It's not.
It's
not a good emulsion.
Right. That seems like an easy way to sabotage because
definitely.
People don't know about that.
Yeah, but what was the question? I forgot the question. Ah, well, no. Sometimes I was afraid. I know some stuff was undercooked. I was more afraid to eat thing undercooked, like chicken. I mean, one time we ate a chicken. It was raw. I mean, hello. I mean, oh God. I mean, come on. I mean, that's when you spill. I don't know. One time you spill. I give you the thing to spill.
That was the chicken tartare.
The chicken tartare. Yeah, I mean, you know, we eat some food. I mean, sometimes it's scary. You just look at it and.
But some of it was delicious.
Yeah. Like, were you ever pleasantly surprised?
One guy did a sauce that was so great with like soy sauce and sriracha, and I have to write down what it was because I think he told us, and it was so amazing. Like this.
Oh, it was Sing.
Yes, his sauce was
he did
so
amazing,
good.
making the dipping sauce with the dumpling. Yeah, I remember that sauce. Now with some amazing food. One girl in the episode 1, she did amazing cake. Like I really want the recipe. It was so good. Yeah, sometimes I want the recipe.
I will say when something has under 3 ingredients, I'm into it. You know, like that's like whatever is like if it's very simplified, then cooking is fun. You should do a cookbook with just under 3 ingredients.
Ingredients. Yeah, there's a new cookbook with Natasha. Cook simply. Yeah.
Like you just have to get little toast points, and then you can just put anything.
Look, the most difficult thing as a chef is to cook simply, like not a lot of ingredients. You know, it's the most difficult thing, and to cook interesting, it's very difficult.
Any final questions? We're reaching the end, so get them in now if you do. All right, see a hand there.
Oh, we don't see you guys, so I don't see you with the light.
You described a few of the dishes that you really liked, but do either of you have a particular contestant that you sort of latched onto, or that's kind of
yes,
your favorite or most memorable?
That blonde woman?
No. I freak out on somebody. I freak out. Like I remember, I was so embarrassed.
No, but he's asking if there was anyone you particularly liked.
I like.
No, but this is more interesting. It was a particular person you did not like.
Somebody I like.
No, talk about that. That's way better.
Somebody really pissed me off and really don't take the competition very seriously, I think. And I think I really lost it. She answered back to me, and she was very not very nice, and she did a shitty job. And you see what I'm going to do. Don't piss me off.
Don't relive the moment too much.
No, exactly, guys. But yeah. But I will say, I mean, if you have good contestant, I will hire maybe 1 or 2. Yeah, definitely. Like some contestant, I will hire. You know, definitely.
It's hard to find people who are like really talented, but also have like a good personality that you would want to be around them. Because sometimes people would be like a little loud with their personalities.
Oh yeah. They're on TV. They want to be.
Right.
You know.
But you don't want them to be your like in the kitchen with you,
no,
right?
of course not, definitely. I did one time a mistake like that to hire a contestant.
Oh really?
Oh yeah.
Did you have to fire them then?
Yes.
Don't mess with him. Oh, how about for you though? I actually really love the moments where I can tell you're enjoying just like volleying with some of the contestants. One of my absolute favorite moments was one of them when you told them how much time was left, and they go, "That's rude," and you go, "That's burning," and you were so quick with it.
I mean, they were very sweet. Again, you know, it was like everyone was like pretty nervous, and they didn't really know what to expect. And then they see it's Ludo, and they're just like, you know, shaking and trying to impress him, and you know, it's.
Did they know that before? Like, how much did
I think they let them know when they were in the hotels, like who was involved. So then they were like, "Oh, it's that person. Oh my God!" And you know, so it's. They definitely knew.
And did they have the full concept of one of these people will be sabotaged, or was that presented to them in the room?
That was my job to present to them the rules.
Yeah,
So
very good.
so I don't think they exactly knew, but I think they were kind of shocked with how much money they could all, you know, eventually, especially the rat.
Especially the rats. The rat can make a lot of money.
That's why you want to be the rat.
Exactly. You know? Uh-huh.
I love it. Well, I do hope we get a season 2, and I hope we end up with Ludo as a contestant on season 6.
Oh my
like
God,
we said.
that would be amazing.
that'd be amazing.
And I would just sabotage just by like trying.
I know
you
how to
know?
sabotage you.
But if you haven't been watching, there's time to catch up because, as was mentioned, the next 2 weeks are off, and then
Oh yeah, catch up in these 2 weeks.
yeah, catch up in these 2
It
weeks.
does kind of fly by. I mean, it's. I was very pleased.
Yeah, no, it's a really fun watch, really fun binge. So catch up in the next 2 weeks, then take Chef Ludo's advice and win a lot of money on the May 19th when this airs, and then check out the second half of the season on TV. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you guys for coming.
Thank you, Denver. Thank you for coming today.
Thank you all. Enjoy the rest of SeriesFest.
Go to Chez Maggie.
Yes. I did it last night. Amazing.
Come to eat some butter.